and fabulously fun.
Is this real life?
Best of all, your comments.
That was a real money saver. Thanks, Randall.
So did it work out for you?
Your hotel tip was spot on.
You're listening to the Eat, Drink, Explore radio network. But don't just sit there. It's an interactive program, honey.
Are you sure this is legal? I don't know. It's fun though, isn't it?
Pick your pleasure. Tweet, chat, post, email, even call us on the telly. Whatever works for you. Our topics today, food, drinks, travel, and a whole lot more fun. So let's pop the cork on this thing and get the party started. Give it up now for our fantastic host, the wonderful and talented Mr. Randall White.
I think that's the champagne talking.
And good morning, everyone. Great to have you listening or even watching this morning as we discuss current trends in food, beverages, and travel and tourism, too, of course. We keep it healthy, sustainable, and most of all fun right here on Eat, Drink, Explore Radio. We are broadcasting live from downtown San Luis Obispo as we do each and every week in our studio that we built down here. And we should let you know this show's Saturday morning time slot will switch to Sunday mornings starting in September, next month, as we expand our radio footprint to include the wonderful town of Santa Cruz, the Silicon Valley, and all of Monterey County. It's in order for our show to air live on our affiliate stations, everyone had to be like have the same time slot available, and that is this exact time slot just on Sunday mornings. So starting in a few weeks, you can catch us here on Crush 92.5 every Sunday morning from 8 to 10 instead of this Saturday slot. And no matter where you are, of course, you can catch us on your Apple or Android device, which is nice and convenient. And it's free, the app. And also segments you may have missed. They're uploaded within hours of the program. Straight ahead on this week's show, cases of West Nile virus are at near record levels in the U.S. We'll hear from a doctor with the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention about what you can expect and how to prevent outbreaks around where you live. Also, ahead on today's program, we're touching base with our good friend Gabe Saglie and a look at this week's top travel deals. Next hour, our compass word is cat, which leads us to a book on Julia Child's early years, a boutique winery in a newly designated Napa Valley appellation, and a charming bed and breakfast in Santa Barbara, just steps from an urban wine trail. All right, this hour of Eat, Drink, Explore Radio brought to you by our good friends at Eberle Winery in Paso, Robles, open daily from 10 in the morning until 6 o'clock in the evening with complimentary wine tasting and cave tours. You know, their tours voted by Wine Spectator as one of the best on the entire Central Coast. Eberle Winery, located on 46 East in Paso Robles. Just log on to Eberle, that's EBERLE, winery.com. All right, it is time now for us to check in with our, the experts that know, what do you call them? Critics. They right. It's that moment in the show where we turn the conversation over to the people around the globe whose specialty it is to hear about fine wine, craft beer, restaurants, hotels, among other things. And this week, we turn the segment over to the wine dude, literally the wine dude, number one wine dude, Joe Roberts, who has a website where there's some serious talk about wine, and you can find him at onewinedude.com. That site, a finalist in the Best Wine Reviews category for the 2012 Wine Blog Awards. Welcome to the program, Joe.
Hey, thanks.
Nice to have you with us. And so your website, unlike some wine critics, your site is really designed to help people learn about wine in an entertaining and relaxed framework.
Well, thanks for that. It's relaxed because I don't know any other way to do it. So
All right.
I'm incapable of taking things too seriously, I think. So I guess that translates over on the web for better and worse.
Yeah, no, well, good. You have 3 picks for us this week, and each one came in number 1 in your annual top 10 most interesting wines of the year. You call them the MIWs. So we have one from each of the past 3 years. And let's start with your number 1 pick from all the way back in 2009. What do you have for us?
Okay, so in 2009, that's a good one to start with because if we're going sort of the white to red or to dessert, we might be jumping around. But what I picked back then, it's a wine that actually kind of helped put me on the map as a reviewer. It's Mathiassen's White Blend from Napa Valley. That was the 07 vintage, but obviously there's more current ones now. And interestingly, they reached out to me, and I was kind of the first guy in the scene to highlight that wine and talk about what a game changer I thought it was in terms of what Napa white wines were capable of. And since then, they've gotten just a ton of vindication behind that from the San Francisco Chronicle, Raj Parr, Robert Parker, you name it. Like, people have kind of lined up behind it, expressing the same sentiment, which is great to see.
Yeah.
And it's a couple out of Napa. They're peach farmers, but they sort of live that romanticized ideal that we all have about wine that doesn't really work for 90% of the wine that's made, where they have a farm in Napa, and they walk outside, and a bunch of their vineyards are right behind them.
Yeah.
And they and their kids live on that farm, and wine and peach farm is kind of how they make their money.
They're true farmers.
The wine doesn't have any peaches in it. Okay,
yeah.
Although sometimes you get some peach aromas from it. It's actually mostly Ribolla Gialla. It's mostly Sauvignon Blanc and Ribolla Gialla.
Oh, I haven't heard of Ribolla Gialla.
Yeah, a northern Italian white grape. It's really interesting wine. What's great about it is it's got that sort of northern Italian, funky, nutty, racy, tropical fruit mix that you get out of the better whites from there, but you're getting it from Napa. And sometimes the winemaker Steve Mathiasen from the couple, Steve and Jill, his wife, Steve, he's an in-demand consultant now for some really big names and really expensive wines in the Valley. He basically working in the vineyards as a consultant with some of those folks because he does such a great job.
That sounds...
Go
ahead.
Oh, sorry, and he's always experimenting. So it's just a great, interesting wine if you think, the whites out of Napa are just maybe too big, too flabby, too just crazy for me, too fat, whatever. Try these out. They're racy, they're linear, they're just stellar, and still really, really interesting. So just a different side of what Napa White can do.
And we should mention that you can find these picks on our website at eatdrinkexplore.com after the show's over. If you want to head there, if you're like, what did he say? Which one was that? That's how you find it. Okay, we have less than 2 minutes left to get to your next two, so we need to hit the 2010 pick.
Yeah, Quinta do Vesuvio, vintage port from 2007.
Oh, I love port.
2007, amazing vintage. Quinta do Vesuvio is probably a bit of a sleeper. I mean, you'll see a lot of critics picking probably bigger names and maybe much more intensely structured wines. But this wine, I think, it's a bit cheaper than some of those others, just as good. Going to be a surprising one for people. If you can afford it, pick up 5 or 6 bottles, drink them over the next 5 or 6 decades.
I like it. And where's that out of?
That one is out of Porto in Portugal.
Oh, okay, yeah. And then your final pick for today, anyway, is it was the number one most interesting from just last year, 2011.
Last year, yeah, the 2008 De Martino, single vineyard, Old Bush Vines, Lima Vida, that's what they call it, from Chile. It's a Malbec blend from Chile. The vines were planted in the 40s. They actually don't know, I think, what all the grapes are. They know it's mostly Malbec, which you tend to see out of Argentina, but not so much out of Chile. The winemaker, Marcel Retamal, is great. He's doing fantastic work. This is a red wine that's amazingly complex, amazingly structured. It's a gorgeous wine, has a ton of surprises in it, will reward the patient.
Joe,
only $40.
Only $40. I got to cut you off right there because we only have 8 seconds left.
Okay.
OneWineDude.com. Joe Roberts. We're back in just a moment. The Eat, Drink, Explore radio show is currently in a local commercial break, and we'll be back shortly.
Yeah.
Did you know our weekly Saturday morning radio show also has a video simulcast?
I let you go too long on the first one, but just because it was so interesting, I was listening to it going, this is great, and then I looked at the clock and I went, wow.
By simply downloading our free
Patty, my co-host,
Drink Explore
was just
app
loving it.
for your
So,
smartphone or tablet
I apologize
device.
if we had to
Find
cut you
it,
off.
just head to
no problem. I tend tend to talk too much.
That's
a good thing in your position. The worst guest in the world is the one that doesn't have anything to say. So.
Sure.
Well, fantastic, Joe. I'll be in contact with you, and I'll send you a
show
link
is currently in a local commercial break.
Oh, fantastic. Yeah, and just let me know when you want to squeeze something else back on, and if I have time, I'll be happy to do it.
Fantastic. Thanks, Joe. Make it a great day, okay?
Thank you, too. Cheers.
Breaking news from Eat, Drink, Explore Media by following us on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. We're easy to find. The URL extension for all of those sites is simply Eat, Drink, Explore.
Patty, this segment is the two.
Thank you for your patience. The Eat, Drink, Explore radio show is currently in a local commercial break and will be back on the air shortly.
Also, why women live longer, maybe because of fruit flies. You have access.
Curious about information you've heard on today's show? Just head to eatdrinkexplore.com and head to the weekly program summary section under the radio tab. We always list the websites and any other important facts associated with each of our guests we have on the program.
Yeah. And then scroll down to 819, and there's a link that you'll find why women live longer.
The Eat, Drink, Explore radio show is currently in a local commercial break and will be back on the air shortly. Thank you for being a regular listener to the Eat, Drink, Explore radio program. If you have any feedback for us, we'd love to hear it. Simply send a note to radio@eatdrinkexplore.com. The Eat, Drink, Explore radio show is currently in a local commercial break. We will be back shortly.
Okay, here's the CDC West Nile woman.
Get the latest audio, video, and breaking news from Eat, Drink, Explore Media by following us on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. We're easy to find. The URL extension for all of those sites is simply Eat, Drink, Explore.
Yeah.
Thank you for your patience. The Eat, Drink, Explore radio show is currently in a local commercial break and will be back on the air shortly. Curious about information you've heard on today's show? Just head to eatdrinkexplore.com and head to the weekly program summary section under the radio tab. We always list the websites and any other important facts associated with each of our guests we have on the program. The Eat, Drink, Explore radio show is currently in a local commercial break and will be back shortly.
Okay, there.
Did you know our weekly Saturday morning radio show also has a video simulcast on Ustream? You can watch it live or view pre-recorded versions while on the go by simply downloading our free Eat, Drink, Explore app for your smartphone or tablet device. To find it, just head to Google Play or the Apple App Store and search Eat, Drink, Explore. Hey, welcome back, everyone, to the Eat, Drink, Explore radio show on this Saturday morning. I'm your host, Randall White, joined by the lovely and talented Patty Pyburn. Hey, Patty, did you... okay, so in the middle of the night, your dogs can just come and go from the house?
Yeah, we don't have them totally enclosed.
Yeah, so ours bug us, and they have to go out in the middle of the night, you know. And so there's
you have an enclosed yard.
Yes, uh-huh. So... and they sleep in the bedroom. So we have to, they start bugging you around 2 a.m. So anyway, I let our little dog Floresita out last night, and as I'm waiting for her, I saw the sky light up.
Oh.
And then when I went back to bed, I could hear it raining. We had a little thunderstorm last night.
I heard there was a possibility for that, and a lot of times when there's that small possibility, you think, well, it's not really going to happen, but it did. Wow.
Yeah. So I know there are some people from the Wisconsin area that watch us each week, and you're thinking, ooh, big deal.
A little flash.
Thunderstorm. It is a big deal to us on the Central Coast. We never get it.
We don't see that often, no.
No.
I think they were moving up. I heard from Santa Barbara moving up north was what they were expecting with the weather conditions that were coming together.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's a little of that monsoonal flow that goes into Arizona.
High and a low, and they were mixing, and, and that's all I know about it.
That's exactly it, Patty. All right, this is our Get Fit segment. It's a chance for Patty and me to chat a bit about some of the current headlines regarding nutrition and fitness. And this week, I noticed a press release, Patty, from the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention in Atlanta regarding a higher than normal uptick of West Nile virus. And
that's
we're still
carried by mosquitoes.
Yeah,
right. Okay.
Exactly. We're still early in the season, so it's just kind of the beginning of mosquito season. August and September, it really peaks out. But right now, so far, 42 states out of 50 have reported West Nile virus infections in people, birds, or mosquitoes. And, we first saw West Nile in 1999 in the United States. It was first detected on the west side of the Nile in Egypt, and then made its way over
spread.
here.
And horses can get it too, right?
That I don't know.
I'm pretty sure I've heard that horses can also catch that.
Yeah, there have been 4 deaths so far, and this is the highest number of cases reported since 2004, which was sort of a peak year. And so, we're looking at sort of a not necessarily an onslaught, but let's hear what one doctor from the CDC has to say regarding this year's current totals.
A lot of people become infected with West Nile virus and never develop any symptoms. And a large number of people who do develop symptoms have mild symptoms such as a headache and fever. A very small percentage of people go on to develop severe symptoms such as encephalitis or meningitis. And those are the infections that most often may lead to death, and that's about 10% of the cases that develop encephalitis or meningitis might die.
And we should mention that 80% of the cases so far have been reported in 3 states, Texas being number 1, followed by Mississippi and Oklahoma. California, we don't have a big problem with mosquitoes here, but we do peak on the West Nile virus, and it could just be the sheer number of people that live here, sooner or later.
Skewing us that direction. And Randall, I just checked. Yes, I was right. Horses can catch it. Same way we catch it. They
mosquito
get bitten by a mosquito. Same delivery.
And the doctor, Stephanie, I don't have her last name in front of me right now, told me that the reason why birds are big transmitters of it because when they get it in their system, they carry a lot of the virus in their blood, and then a mosquito bites and picks up.
Transfer it.
They transfer it. That's how mosquitoes give it, how it goes from one mosquito to another.
They're little virus vehicles.
Yeah, exactly. So, but there are ways to prevent it, and this is what the good doctor has to say.
If you have any symptoms that concern you, you should check with your healthcare provider. It is important to note, however, that there's no specific treatments for West Nile virus, and so we really need to focus on preventing illness in the first place. And so this can be done by wearing insect repellents or long sleeves and pants when going outside, and reducing the numbers of mosquito breeding areas such as standing water around your house.
Dr. Stephanie Yendel with the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. She's not in Atlanta like they are. She's actually based in Colorado. But she had some great information on the whole West Nile situation. So we wanted to update you on that because West Nile is one of those things when you're exploring,
you can be prone to mosquito bites.
Right.
If you're out there.
Exactly. Okay, now, Patty, I also saw another piece on the clues as to why women may live longer than men can be found in fruit flies.
Apparently, fruit flies very revealing on why women typically outlive men.
And they typically do by a few years at least.
Do we really need to study fruit flies for this? Come on, why are we outliving men?
You're smarter. You take fewer risks. Yes.
Okay, no, but seriously, some scientific study done about fruit flies and their DNA, and this is being extrapolated to other species, to other animals, because they see this pattern of females outliving males, not just with humans, but in a lot of other species too. So it comes down to mitochondrial DNA, which I don't know a whole lot about, but very interesting article. This is on the BBC about this fruit fly study, revealing that a lot of the mutations and defects that we have as humans are passed through this mitochondrial DNA through the mother. So through females only. So what they have ascertained from this fruit fly study, and of course, this is just sort of a glimpse and it's not the whole picture, but what they believe is these mutations that shorten men's life are passed through the mom. Okay. So they get through natural selection. If they were being passed through fathers and they weren't successful traits, the theory is they would die off. But
get weeded out.
Since fathers don't pass it along, these bad elements of this DNA, these bad mutations, get through. The moms pass them on to their sons, so they keep existing and actually multiplying, building up. There are more of them.
Interesting.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, it totally does. And and whenever you hear about these fruit fly studies being sponsored, and people go, why are we spending money on fruit flies? There's a lot that can be garnered from this sort of research. Seriously.
Apparently, fruit flies hold the answer. Now, one of the researchers, his quote, Dr. Dowling says, if a mitochondrial mutation occurs that harms a father but has no effect on the mother, this mutation will slip through the gaze of natural selection unnoticed, is how he explains it. Yes. Now, he does say that this does not take into account for a lot of other factors like you have mentioned, lifestyle and habits,
Men
diet.
tend to take unintelligent risks, jumping off, high cliffs,
bungee jumping, whatever.
Right, things like that.
So he goes on to say that this is definitely a big clue and is going to help science unravel some of these questions, but certainly not the only answer for why women typically live 5 to 6 years longer than men.
Oh, 5 to 6 years.
But they're on the right track, they feel.
Our overall life expectancy has really just jumped up dramatically over the past century. If you look back just 100 years or so.
For men and women.
Yeah. It was like 40s and 50s was considered ripe old age, and now living to 100 is not at all out of the question.
Right. Well, apparently for right now, statistics show about at the age of 85, if you look around, you're going to see 6 women for every 4 men at that age. That's about what they have figured out. This is according to a study out of the UK.
Okay, so 3 to every 2. Mm-hmm. And this is at age 85?
85.
Well, it's not so bad. Says a man.
Says a man who says there are more women for me to choose from at the age of 85. What's wrong with that?
Well, that won't affect me, but still, that's why I married younger.
I see your thinking.
Yes. All right, Patty. I was going to talk a little bit about Prop 37, the
food,
the Genetically Engineered Food Act. But
did we use up too much time?
Yeah, we only have a minute left. I will be bringing this up between now and November again.
That's a really complex one, hard to really get into in a minute.
Exactly, and it was a press release put out by the opponents to it, and there were just so many false arguments in it that I thought I kind of want to knock these down one at a time because this is how they're going to win the vote, by throwing scare things out there. And there's nothing to be afraid of. We're just going to find out what's in the food. Period. Done. So
More
don't be
information.
fooled.
What's wrong with that?
Right. Exactly. Okay. Hey, coming up, next segment, we are introducing you to one of our good friends and a sponsor of this show, as a matter of fact. It's where local winemakers show off their culinary skills in high-stakes cook-off. And here's the thing. It all benefits education. No one can argue with that. Scholarships for kids that live in San Luis Obispo County.
Awesome.
You're listening to the Eat, Drink, Explore Radio Network, where we're discussing all things food, wine, and travel. We're back in just a moment.
The Eat, Drink, Explore radio show is currently in a local commercial break and will be back shortly.
Good. We're going to switch you out.
Did you know our weekly Saturday morning radio show also has a video simulcast on Ustream? You can watch it live or view pre-recorded versions while on the go by simply downloading our free Eat, Drink, Explore app for your smartphone or tablet device. To find it, just head to Google Play or the Apple App Store and search Eat, Drink, Explore.
And I'm like, is that St. Patrick's Day? No. Is it graduation? No.
The Eat, Drink, Explore radio show is currently in a local commercial break. We will be back shortly.
I can see and hear you during the commercial, FYI. Oh, thank you, Sue.
Get the latest audio, video, and breaking news from Eat, Drink, Explore Media by following us on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. We're easy to find. The URL extension for all of those sites is simply Eat, Drink, Explore.
So what's switched? Gary, how are you? I'm fine. Nice to have you here, and for such a great
Thank you for your patience. The Eat, Drink, Explore radio show is currently in a local commercial break, and we'll be back on the air shortly.
It's not tasty, but right.
Curious about information you've heard on today's show? Just head to eatdrinkexplore.com and head to the weekly program summary section under the radio tab. We always list the websites and any other important facts associated with each of our guests we have on the program.
All right. I was thinking about the chair, and not Nicole.
The Eat, Drink, Explore radio show is currently in a local commercial break and will be back on the air shortly. Thank you for being a regular listener to the Eat, Drink, Explore radio program. If you have any feedback for us, we'd love to hear it. Simply send a note to radio@eatdrinkexplore.com. The Eat, Drink, Explore radio show is currently in a local commercial break. We will be back shortly. Get the latest audio, video, and breaking news from Eat, Drink, Explore Media by following us on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. We're easy to find. The URL extension for all of those sites is simply Eat, Drink, Explore. Thank you for your patience. The Eat, Drink, Explore radio show is currently in a local commercial break and will be back on the air shortly. Curious about information you've heard on today's show? Just head to eatdrinkexplore.com and head to the weekly program summary section under the radio tab. We always list the websites and any other important facts associated with each of our guests we have on the program. The Eat, Drink, Explore radio show is currently in a local commercial break and will be back shortly. Did you know our weekly Saturday morning radio show also has a video simulcast on Ustream? You can watch it live or view pre-recorded versions while on the go by simply downloading our free Eat, Drink, Explore app for your smartphone or tablet device. To find it, just head to Google Play or the Apple App Store and search Eat, Drink, Explore. All right, now, a very good Saturday to you. How's your morning going so far? Did you get your cup of coffee or your tea, or some people maybe like a Diet Coke? I don't know. Some people start their day that way. Not me. I'm your host, Randall White. We discuss food, wine, craft beer, travel, tourism every Saturday morning at this time, right here on this very station. However, that will switch to Sundays starting in September when we add KSCO out of Santa Cruz to our lineup. And that's a 50,000 watt powerhouse, so it goes right on into the Silicon Valley. In fact, I was just up in San Jose the other day, and it came in loud and clear, which made me happy. And then that goes right on down all of Monterey County and starts to fade out right as you get into San Miguel, right when you start picking up Crush 92.5. So it's perfect, and we want to be live on all stations. And so the time slot that works for that is Sundays from 8 to 10. So that will be changing as we move into September. Okay, it is my pleasure to welcome to the Eat, Drink, Explore studio this morning well-known Paso Robles winemaker Gary Eberle. Not only is Gary our sponsor, but a sponsor of great radio in general here on the Central Coast, he also is a driving force behind an event that raises important scholarship dollars for students graduating from Paso Robles High School. The event so far, get a load of this, has raised nearly $380,000, helping students realize their dreams. It is expensive to go to college or vocational school, whatever it might be. Sometimes the choice is, I can't do it, I got to work instead. And then, then once a few years go by, next thing you know, you're in the career mode and you skip the whole schooling. So Gary and his gang of friends in Paso Robles
help cook their way to get kids to school. Last year's graduating class was given $30,000 in such awards. Gary and his cook-off crew are hoping to match or even exceed that total this year. Welcome to the program, Gary.
Thanks, Randall. It's good to be here.
And so this is held, as I understand it, River Oaks Hot Springs.
Yes.
And where is that exactly?
It is off of Buena Vista. It's essentially across from the new Cuesta College North County campus.
Okay.
Back in that area of town, just on the east side of the river.
Yeah, and we're just a week away from it, August 11th, from 6 until 9 o'clock.
Yep.
And people get their tickets how?
They can go online, call the Chamber of Commerce, call the Paso Robles Rotary Club. Tickets are everywhere, or you can just get tickets at the event.
At the event.
Yeah.
And this is a Rotary event, correct?
Yeah. It started off as a competition between me and Toby from Tobin James.
Okay.
One of my best friends, and I gave him his first job in the business back in 1980, and then when I started Eberle, drug Toby along, and we always used to have this little competition about who was the best barbecuer.
That's fun.
And suddenly I'm becoming the president of Rotary in 99, and I said, geez, here's a chance to raise some money for scholarships.
Yeah.
Because without scholarship, I would have never gone to college. Never would have happened. And is the president, the president-elect, president, and past president, we were doing about $3,000 in scholarships, and we were giving out $200 and $300 scholarships, and it was embarrassing because you'd get 30, 40 applications, and every one of them needed a scholarship.
Yeah.
So I needed a way to raise money, and we came up with the $380,000 is what we've given out in scholarships. We also started a foundation that we've put $400,000 in, and it's to perpetuate. When it gets so big, then we're starting to take money off of that also.
So you're planning ahead. I love that. With the, when I first went to school, I went to 2 years of junior college before I went eventually to Cal Poly here, and my 2 years of junior college were paid for by a scholarship called the Doyle Scholarship. And if you're familiar with San Francisco and the approach to the Golden Gate Bridge, that's called Doyle Drive. There was a man with the last name Doyle who lived up in the North Bay. He was a proponent of getting the Golden Gate Bridge in, and which is why that's called Doyle Drive, because he knew that would would really boost the economy of the North Bay, and it did. And so he made a lot of money, and when he died, his estate was put into this perpetual sort of thing, and all of the money every year that's generated by that account goes to these Doyle scholarships. So really all you have to do is apply to Santa Rosa Junior College, and you basically get a Doyle scholarship, and it helps pay the way. And that's what you eventually want to do, is build this nest egg for that sort of thing, right?
We would like to get to the point where we can give $50,000 a year in scholarships. Last year we did $30,000, and we're still building the foundation. It's not where it needs to be yet. But this year we're hoping to do $36,000 and we want to give scholarships that have a meaning. A $300 scholarship, it's nice. It buys a book.
Yeah, nowadays.
But so in the Rotary Club, there isn't a better venue or organization, and it just was such a natural. And we have so many good people in Rotary, like Vicky Silva and Sally Davis, and people that have just taken my idea and really run with it.
And Rotary is primarily a business organization for connecting businesses to the community, right? And that's exactly what this is doing.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. Now, if for people that are watching on the app or via the website and can actually see the show, we do have some pictures we're sharing of last year. I believe it was last year's event. And is this being held at the same location? Same place. So you have a beautiful venue there for a stage, and there's live. It's not just a cook-off. There's live music as well.
Yeah, Julie Beaver and the Mad Dogs are playing again this year. Tickets are $75, and you cannot eat all of the food that is presented. I mean, there is so much food. You'll have 30-plus wineries, each doing appetizer-sized portions, but I'm talking about,
large, right?
Yeah, sliders, whatever. And, I defy anybody except some of these guys that eat in hot dog contests to go around and actually only the judges really, because we've got two trophies: the People's Choice Award, which I call the Hannibal Lecter Award, and then there's a professional panel of the judges. And
okay.
The professional panel, they can't take bribes, but on the Hannibal Lecter Award, you can bribe people with special bottles of wine, special this or that, to get tickets. So
that's fun, and it's a good way to also just keep the enthusiasm up and people donating and that sort of thing. Did you say 30 wineries?
30 plus, yeah.
Wow. So there's no surprise in the Paso area that there'd be a lot of great wine paired with these foods. What sort of items are most popular? Like you'll see a lot of, you mentioned sliders.
Boy, I mean, everything. People really keep things, secret, but everyone every year tries to outdo themselves. And you have, you'll have oysters on the grill. Everything must be cooked on the grill by either the owner or winemaker. But you have
good. I like that.
Crew. And I can't even begin to tell you. And then the Madonna Inn, Mrs. Madonna and Alex, when he was alive, always donates dessert. And we have, if you like the pastries from the Madonna Inn, they bring up these huge sheet cakes, just one after another, and 4 or 5 different flavors, and you can try one of them or all of them, and it's you will not go hungry, and there will be enough wine to satisfy.
So fast on, this is on a Saturday, right?
Yes.
So fast on Friday, and then on Saturday, designated driver and eat and drink to your heart's content. Listen to some great music and raise some fantastic dollars. Now the tickets are $75. There must be, considering the numbers that you're saying, there must be other ways in which money is raised through this event.
Oh yeah, we have sponsors. IQMS is our big title sponsor this year, but the whole community really gets behind this event. When we first started, it was just nothing.
Yeah,
and now it's probably. I don't want to say sell out because we never turn anyone away at the gate, but
it gets close.
Purpose, yeah, it's pretty.
Now, Gary, you're really well known for your barbecue. I know that for big events like Father's Day and such, you hold those barbecues, and also the big Paso Robles Wine Festival every year. You hold those special barbecues on Sundays, right?
Whenever the mood moves me.
Yeah.
We just did one last Sunday, and it's people say, "Well, when are you going to do it?" And I said,
I don't know.
There's three of us: Dennis Cassidy, who's the current president of the Rotary, and Jeff Pennick, a good friend, and we'll get a Saturday or a Sunday or sometimes even in the middle of the week. And when we haven't had our fill of, ribs or tri-tip, we say, hey, you want a barbecue? And we'll barbecue for 3-4 hours. And we used to be complimentary and we just hand the stuff out. But now we ask for a quarter donation that goes to the Children's Museum in Paso Robles.
See, this is the type of guy this is. And you know where I first met him? I first met him at a Creston chili cook-off for the exact same cause, scholarship money. And we were both judges tasting some really good chili up there. And they still do that, don't they? I haven't gone the last 2 years, but I was doing it every year there for a while.
I was there last year. But you get invited, and if you can make it, fine. They've got a panel of about 10 or 12 judges that they call on.
They do, and that's in October, and I believe it's in October, if I remember correctly, because it's always kind of hot, and our weather around here it really heats up in the fall. And I just remember so many of the people that cook the chili really getting into like costume and character and everything they can do to win your vote. So it's a fun event. But the event on hand, you have 1 week to get your tickets. It is 1 week from today, and it helps out such a great cause, and you can just eat until you can't eat anymore and, have plenty of some of the world's best wines. Gary Eberle with Eberle Winery, thank you so much for coming in and talking about the Rotary Winemakers Cook-Off. And the website for that's a really easy one. I think it's winemakercookoff.com.
Yep.
That was a bonus to get that website. Yeah. So we'll link that, of course, to our website, eatdrinkexplore.com. Thanks, Gary.
Thank you, Randall.
All right, stick around, everyone. One of our very good friends, Gabe Saglie, is in Travelzoo's extremely popular top 20. He narrows it in for us here on the Central Coast, including a San Luis Obispo staycation that's a great deal. We're up next. The Eat, Drink, Explore radio show is currently in a local commercial break and will be back shortly. Did you know our weekly Saturday morning radio show also has a video simulcast on Ustream? You can watch it live or view pre-recorded versions while on the go by simply downloading our free Eat, Drink, Explore app for your smartphone or tablet device. To find it, just head to Google Play or the Apple App Store and search Eat, Drink, Explore.
Gary, are you heading over to Costco now?
Actually, I was. But,
The Eat, Drink, Explore radio show is currently in a local commercial break. We will be back shortly.
I went there a week ago, and I'm like...
Get the latest audio, video, and breaking news from Eat, Drink, Explore Media by following us on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. We're easy to find. The URL extension for all of those sites is simply Eat, Drink, Explore.
Thanks for setting the camera, too. No problem. Gary, have a safe trip back up to Paso.
Oh, yeah.
We'll have to swing by sometime.
Thank you for your patience. The Eat, Drink, Explore radio show is currently in a local commercial break and will be back on the air shortly.
10 tri-tip, a case of baby back ribs, Danish baby back.
Curious about information you've heard on today's show? Just head to eatdrinkexplore.com and head to the weekly program summary section under the radio tab. We always list the websites and any other important facts associated with each of our guests we have on the program.
No, of course not. Right. That's such a smart trick, too, because it gets people over there.
The Eat, Drink, Explore radio show is currently in a local commercial break and will be back on the air shortly.
The other thing, we used to just give it away. The reason we started...
Thank you for being a regular listener to the Eat, Drink, Explore radio program. If you have any feedback for us, we'd love to hear it. Simply send a note to radio@eatdrinkexplore.com. The Eat, Drink, Explore radio show is currently in a local commercial break. We will be back shortly.
That's the corner.
Get the latest audio, video, and breaking news from Eat, Drink, Explore Media by following us on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. We're easy to find. The URL extension for all of those sites is simply Eat, Drink, Explore.
That's fantastic. I think the one here in Slow, they just have that big revamp, but I think they're kind of hurting for
Thank you for your patience. The Eat, Drink, Explore radio show is currently in a local commercial break and will be back on the air shortly.
Thank you very much, Gary. And thanks for your sponsorship, too. Much appreciated.
Curious about information you've heard on today's show? Just head to eatdrinkexplore.com and head to the weekly program summary section under the radio tab. We always list the websites and any other important facts associated with each of our guests we have on the program.
The one from the previous
The Eat, Drink, Explore radio show is currently in a local commercial break and will be back shortly. Did you know our weekly Saturday morning radio show also has a video simulcast on Ustream? You can watch it live or view pre-recorded versions while on the go by simply downloading our free Eat, Drink, Explore app for your smartphone or tablet device. To find it, just head to Google Play or the Apple App Store and search Eat, Drink, Explore.
Get over here, Patty. Sorry, Spencer and Gabe.
You've waited all week, and it's finally here. The Eat, Drink, Explore Weekly Travel Deals Extravaganza.
Very good Saturday morning to you. 8:49 the time right now on this Saturday morning, and this is the moment where we typically hear the best of the best, the gurus of travel bargains and that sort of thing. Gabe Saglie from Travelzoo is our scheduled guest, and for some reason we don't have him on the line right now, and it might be we have the right phone number, and I know he's home in his wonderful South Coast location. But we'll just continue trying that number. In the meantime, I do have his picks. He gives them to me ahead of time. And
you got the inside scoop.
Here's the other thing. You know how we're switching to Sundays starting in September. So, that can throw off regular guests, moving from one day of the week to the next. So I checked with Gabe, and I'm like, Gabe, are you still going to be able to do the first Sunday of every month as opposed to the first Saturday? Do you know that it fits perfectly between... he does a lot of television interviews as well, and he does them from Los Angeles, their Travelzoo center down there in Los Angeles. And he does one live on KTLA, and then he heads back over to the studio. They have a satellite studio where they do ones for other locations, and then he'll do ours. And then right after ours, he does a television station up in Sacramento. It fits
perfect.
Like the timing couldn't be more perfect for his.
He's not saying, sorry, I'm live on KTLA. Sorry, I can't do it, Randall.
No, he's able.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it actually works better because I was the only thing he was really doing on Saturdays. So it kind of, threw a wrench into his Saturday morning.
And he lives what he speaks. He
For
is
sure.
on the road, traveling, checking out places all the time.
All the time. Now, I deleted some of the minutia details for these deals because I knew Gabe would be getting to it, but I like to have the bullet points in front of me.
Right.
So that I can,
you have the highlights.
Join in the conversation with him. So I'm only going to be able to give you the bullet points. And I can't do it as illustrious as Gabe does.
Right.
But, but I can still tell you, this is all of this information can be found at travelzoo.com/top20. Of course, we do put a link to that at eatdrinkexplore.com under today's program summary, which it has not posted yet, but it will after the show. All right, so I mentioned if you're listening in San Luis Obispo right now and you want to do a staycation, or you're listening outside the area and you want to come visit San Luis Obispo, this is a great deal. In fact, half the price. $99 a night, normally $199 to stay at the Apple Farm Inn in San Luis, which, as you know, is everyone knows Madonna Inn.
Right.
If you were to name the number 2 place in San Luis Obispo, it would be the Apple Farm. Some people would say it's the number 1 because it's a
it's
little
their
closer.
favorite. Yes.
Yeah, because it's their favorite.
It's so cute and quaint.
It is, yeah. And the deal features a room upgrade. You do just like with, Hilton's Doubletrees. You get the chocolate chip cookie at check-in. Appletree, I think, started before they did doing that. It's for travel through October, and I'm sure there's a lot more that goes along with this deal, but that's just what I know. $99 a night at the Apple Farm is a great deal.
And more often than not, Gabe always throws in the little anecdotes because he's stayed at all these places.
He has. No, I know. Yeah. So, okay. Now, just down the road from where we are in San Luis Obispo is possibly one of the cutest towns in all of California, Solvang, and the Alisal Guest Ranch and Resort. Alisal. There's someone from the area that's sitting right over here who knows this. Curtis, you'll see him doing the news coming up in just a few minutes, actually. The Alisal Guest Ranch and Resort, Solvang, $295 a night. You might be like, $295? It's normally $515. So,
but look what's included, which really makes the price worth it.
It sure does. The deal features, I should say, gourmet breakfast and 3-course dinner. So, yeah.
That is not a bad deal.
It's not a bad deal, especially do a little price comparison there in the Solvang area, and you'll see that is a good deal. Travel daily through March. This includes weekends. That's another big note for sure. You just have to pay an extra $20. That's not much for the weekend travel. Or $20 for travel April 15th through May 31st. So when you head into next spring, it bumps up by $20.
It goes up a little bit.
That's not connected to the weekend. I apologize. Okay, now up the road in our new listening area, Half Moon Bay, one of my favorite. The Half Moon Bay Brewing Company is a great place to sit out, watch the boats, and they have a big fire pit there. And
sounds awesome.
They have great fish tacos also. So if you want to head on over there, if you're going to be drinking the beer at Half Moon Bay Brewing Company, you want a place to stay. You could stay at the Oceano Hotel and Spa, $239 a night, regularly $400. The deal includes an upgrade to a deluxe suite, a bottle of wine at check-in, and a $50 dining credit.
Very nice.
Travel through October, rate drops to $199 for winter travel. So
that's awesome.
Yeah, why not? In fact, winter on the coast in California is some of the best time because the fog is gone, especially up in Half Moon Bay.
Yeah, you can get some really nice days in the fall.
I believe that's San Mateo County, just north of Santa Cruz County. All right, Cabo Azul. This is San Jose del Cabo, one of Gabe's favorite places. He throws in a.
He always has a Cabo,
doesn't he? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, this is $5.99 for a 4-night stay. What's the Do you have that in front of you, Patty?
Regular, yes.
Yeah.
The regular price. I don't know if I can say it out loud. $1,700.
$1,700, huh? Plus, so this is $600. This is less than.
That's 4 nights.
This is almost a third the price.
Yeah.
Deal features accommodations in a 1,200 square foot bedroom villa, which sleeps 4, a private terrace, whirlpool baths, full kitchens. It's very modern. You can upgrade to a 2-bedroom villa, which sleeps 6 for an extra $300. This is 4 nights, remember?
4-night stay. That is that's a good deal.
This is for travel through February, and I have been to Cabo several times in January, and the weather is perfect. It's a desert on the ocean.
Right, and then you just say, why don't I live here?
I know.
And then you snap back to reality.
Right, and then I'm like, oh, people like Sammy Hagar can do that. I cannot. So,
right.
So that is Cabo Azul. Again, all these will be posted at eatdrinkexplore.com under our travel deals column right there on the main page. All right, 2 more to go here. One is, and this is something I would love to do, and first I'm going to tell you how much it costs, where you're going, and then I'm going to tell you what you get. Panama Canal Adventure. I watched a thing on the Panama Canal on Netflix, and
it's amazing.
I really want to go.
Yeah.
There's a whole lake right in the middle that was made as a result of putting in the canal. $1,499 per person. That includes all taxes and fees. So we'll just say $1,500, okay? This is for a 15-night cruise, and your airfare is included. So that's $100 a day. You get fed all of your meals on the cruise.
The flight.
Sightseeing, adventure, all that great stuff that goes along with a cruise for $100 a day, and the flight is thrown in. I don't know how you couldn't do it. Travel, let's see, November 22nd over Thanksgiving. Okay, so you would have to actually do this over Thanksgiving.
Right.
But that'd be kind of fun. Get the whole family to go and make a new tradition.
And then is that second one that you could go December 4th?
Just add an extra $100.
Ooh,
Big deal.
$100.
Yeah.
Break the bank.
Same itinerary, and it's on the Celebrity Century, which I have not cruised on, but you can just do a quick Google search for Celebrity Century to find out what that ship's all about.
That just sounds so cool to be able to see the Panama Canal in 15 days. Wow.
So I think it starts in... if I remember when I was deleting the extra information, I remember seeing Fort Lauderdale and I remember seeing San Diego. So it starts in one of those 2 cities and ends up in the other, and then you fly home.
Okay.
Or you fly there, or however it works out.
Right.
But you don't go through the canal twice. You only
there and back.
Right. Yeah. You only get.
It's a horseshoe.
Yeah, so it's a little more than 2 weeks, 15 nights, so 16 days. That's a nice vacation for a very good price. All right, Mediterranean Adventure, our final one. We have about a minute left. This is a 10-night cruise. Again, it includes air. This is throughout the Mediterranean. $3,151 per person, a little bit more expensive, but all taxes and fees are included. This is $1,000 off the regular price. So you figure a cabin has 2 people, so you're saving $2,000 on this. And this is for travel in the month of October. We have a Mediterranean climate here in California, and you know how beautiful it is in October. So it's very
similar.
Imagine
in the Mediterranean.
Yeah.
Lovely.
This is one of those shoulder seasons, it's called, and it's when you can get really great deals. So those are Gabe's picks.
Travelzoo.
Travelzoo.com/top20. They have, I don't even know how many million followers now at this point on Twitter.
I wonder why.
I know, exactly. All right, stick around, everyone. We should mention this hour of Eat, Drink, Explore Radio brought to you by Kelly's at the Grill at Hunter Ranch. Dine under the Oaks, a great place to go. We're back in just a moment.
Eat, Drink, Explore Media is your lifestyle information source. Our focus, food, wine, craft beer, travel, and tourism trends, with a slant towards sustainable and healthy options. Whether it's hot deals or tips for hotels and flights, an update on what's currently fresh at your local farmer's market, or the latest restaurant and beverage news, we've got you covered from 8 to 10 each and every Saturday morning. Live on Crush 92.5 in San Luis Obispo County, and online at Eat, Drink,
eatdrinkexplore.com. Also, check out our new free smartphone and tablet app. Simply search 3 words, Eat, Drink, Explore, either in Google Play on your Android device or in the App Store on your iPhone or iPad. This free app gives you access to contests, past radio segments, our Facebook and Twitter feeds, and you can watch live video of the radio broadcast while listening to it here on The Crush. Eat, Drink, Explore Media, your source for the lifestyle you love.
Well, they're fully dressed California birds. People that dress nice. Same thing with here.
It's the top of the hour and time once again for the latest from the Eat, Drink, Explore news desk.
Good morning, all you Eat, Drink Explorers out there. I'm Patty Piper, and we're checking on what's making news on this Saturday morning. NASA will land a research rover on the surface of Mars in just 2 days. Curiosity is nearing the end of its 9-month journey. It will touch down on the red planet looking for signs of water or life. To see if that had ever existed on the planet before, researchers are hoping. NASA is hoping this $2.5 billion mission will make history. Curiosity must execute the most challenging and treacherous landing ever attempted. Curiosity will enter Mars' atmosphere at 13,000 miles an hour and will attempt to slow down enough for a jet-propelled crane to lower the rover to the surface, and then once on the ground, is it ground on Mars? I don't know. Once on the Martian terrain, the Curiosity will begin a 2-year mission studying the Martian surface looking for ingredients of life. Now, according to NASA's website, the rover is the most advanced robotic vehicle the space agency has ever created. It's armed with many tools, including a rock vaporizing laser beam that turns rocks into a cloud of gas from 25 feet away. Sounds like we're talking Star Trek here. And the landing is scheduled for early Monday morning. We'll be watching to see how that goes. An ancient Roman monument is leaning, and it may be jeopardizing the structure's integrity. Authorities in Rome report the Colosseum is leaning 16 inches lower on its south side, possibly a result of a crack in the building's foundation. This discovery prompted a $30 million restoration project that will take about 2 years. The Colosseum will remain open during the project so that the thousands of visitors that come each year will not be disrupted. Only small sections will be closed at a time. Guests on a new cruise ship can shower over the ocean. I don't know about that. Celebrity Cruises' newest ship features showers with glass floors and windows hanging outside the walls of the ship. I wonder if this one cruises through the Panama Canal. We'll have to see where it goes. I know where it goes. Stay with us. We'll tell you where it goes. The guests have a view of the ocean below your feet. Showers are included in 1,600 square foot suites. These are the largest accommodations ever on a cruise ship. You will pay, though. You will pay for this. $12,000 each for the first and second passenger, and an additional bargain, $800 for additional passengers. Such a deal. The room also features a wraparound balcony. The cruise line says larger than most basic cabins, and it comes with an on-call butler, of course. And its maiden voyage is in early October from Amsterdam to Barcelona, and you can shower over the ocean. Well, this week, Amtrak made some changes to become more sustainable and user-friendly, offering electronic tickets available for all routes. You can book a trip online, print your tickets from anywhere, and you can even modify your reservations without needing to print a new ticket. Also, available for smartphones, and the smartphone can actually be used to present your e-ticket to a conductor without ever printing it. Amtrak says the feature will be available soon for bus lines as well. All right, we're checking in with Curtis Cole now. Google has some new sightseeing opportunities, huh?
Yeah, well, Google Street View is now featuring California national parks, and it allows users to take a virtual trip through forests and mountain ranges of some of our most beloved national parks. With permission from the Department of the Interior, Google set out with its Google cars armed with 15 lens cameras to capture 360-degree panoramas of the parks. And this new software is also capable of blurring the faces of any would-be travelers, so don't be concerned with that one. And you can also, go through Google and search the streets without being concerned about getting hit by a car or anything like that. The project is from the same team that brought us Google Earth, so you can trust the same photo quality, and it allows those who might not be able to visit the park necessarily to get a glimpse of it in 3D. The current parks available on the Street View are Yosemite, Death Valley, Joshua Tree, Sequoia, and Kings Canyon National Parks. And I spoke with Carrie Cobb, a park ranger at Yosemite National Park, about the new street view. And she says this allows people to see the park when they may not be able to see it in person. And this is what she had to say.
Really get to know the park in a way that maps normal maps don't really allow you to do. So we're pretty excited. It really gives you more of a hands-on feeling and a better view of just what the area looks like. So although it's not the same as being here, it's one step closer. Really get.
Yeah, so
Eat, Drink, Explore Media is your lifestyle information source. Our focus, food, wine, craft beer, travel, and tourism trends, with a slant towards sustainable and healthy options. Whether it's hot deals or tips for hotels and flights, an update on what's currently fresh at your local farmer's market, or the latest restaurant and beverage news, we've got you covered from 8 to 10 each and every Saturday morning. Live on Crush 92.5 in San Luis Obispo County and online at eatdrinkexplore.com. Also, check out our new free smartphone and tablet app. Simply search 3 words, Eat, Drink, Explore, either in Google Play on your Android device or in the App Store on your iPhone or iPad. This free app gives you access to contests, past radio segments, our Facebook and Twitter feeds, and you can watch live video of the radio broadcast while listening to it here on The Crush. Eat, Drink, Explore Media, your source for the lifestyle you love.
Delicious, nutritious, and fabulously fun.
Is this real life?
Best of all, your comments.
That was a real money saver. Thanks, Randall.
So did it work out for you?
Your hotel tip was spot on.
You're listening to the Eat, Drink, Explore Radio Network. But don't just sit there. It's an interactive program, honey.
Are you sure this is legal? I don't know. It's fun though, isn't it?
Pick your pleasure. Tweet, chat, post, email, even call us on the telly. Whatever works for you. Our topics today, food, drinks, travel, and a whole lot more fun. So let's pop the cork on this thing and get the party started. Give it up now for our fantastic host, the wonderful and talented Mr. Randall White.
I think that's the champagne talking.
And good morning, everyone. Glad you can join us here for the show today. I'm your host, Randall White, and we are coming to you live from historic downtown San Luis Obispo, right in the heart of all of the action, bringing you as much current information as possible so you can enjoy your life in a healthy, sustainable, and fun manner. All right, this hour of the show is dedicated, or I say that every, you know what? I'm going to go into my script right now and just
take that
change
out.
it. It is dictated by something we call a compass word. It is essentially a word that inspires us to explore foods, beverages, locations we might not otherwise find. And this week's word is cat. So how we typically come up with the compass word, my co-host Patty Pyburn here to the right of me, is we have a guest that we come up with, and I'm like, where do I want to put them in the show? And then if it's in the second hour, I think, okay, what is it about this guest then that I can choose one word and find my other 2 guests? In this case, our first guest gives us a glimpse into the life of a world-famous cook. She didn't like to call herself a chef because she never worked in a restaurant. We're talking about the Central Coast's very own Julia Child, who would have turned 100 this month.
Wow.
That's right. We'll introduce you to the author of a new children's book about Minette Mimosa McWilliams Child, Julia's beloved cat she adopted in Paris. You know she loved the cat if she gave it 4 names.
Right.
But it's a wonderful children's book. I read it. I didn't have to have help with most of the words, and it's just charming. And I think it's well illustrated, and sometimes the sky is in has a certain light with certain clouds, and it reminds me of a book I read as a child that was illustrated about whales, and those things really stick in your head, you know. And so in this case, I think it's one of those books that'll stick in your child's head. Mm-hmm. And as an adult, I learned some French words reading the book.
Oh.
Yeah, so that's kind of cool, too.
Very nice.
Anyway, the book is about Julia Child's cat. And so then I used the word cat, and for that, we're headed to a newly designated grape-growing appellation in the Napa Valley to hear from a woman who runs a boutique vineyard there called Black Cat Vineyard.
Ooh.
And then finally, we're taking you to a quaint bed and breakfast near downtown Santa Barbara to explore the city's urban wine trail. That's a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm.
I've done that. And the enjoyable walking neighborhood surrounding the Cheshire Cat Inn, which very highly rated on TripAdvisor and such. It almost couldn't get more stars. It's really quite a spot. All right, but before we do any of that, we should let you know that this hour of Eat, Drink, Explore Radio is brought to you by Kelly's at the Grill at Hunter Ranch Golf Course. This is the best-kept restaurant secret on the Central Coast. It is open 7 days a week for breakfast and lunch, happy hour daily from 3 until 6, and then dinner on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. I can't wait till I can mention our sponsor and say it's the worst kept secret.
Everyone's going there.
Everybody
line
knows
out the
about
door.
it. Kelly's at the Grill at Hunter Ranch Golf Course, located on 46 East. That's just past Airport Road in Paso Robles. All right. This week's word, as we mentioned, is cat. And so this is where we like to give you a little history of the word or some interesting facts surrounding cat culture.
Break it down.
And we're going to break it down. Okay. The following facts are according to the Humane Society of America on cats. Patty's a cat owner and I am not.
Yes.
I'm allergic to cats.
Longtime cat owner. Have had many. Right now, currently, our 2 cats are adopted from the Santa Barbara County Animal Services Shelter. Gershwin. They're 2, both of them. Gershwin. And he is a weird cat, and Sassafras.
Do the kids name him?
Can you guess? My son, the piano player, named Gershwin, and my daughter stuck with Sassafras and was not going to be dissuaded.
Does Sassafras mean anything, or it's just a name?
It's the oh my gosh, I feel like I should know.
Is it an herb?
That's what I'm thinking. Keep talking. I'll tell you in a moment.
Okay. Well, I can tell you, Patty, that you are in the minority because only 21% of owned cats are adopted from an animal shelter, and that's really too bad.
That is because they're overflowing. Both shelters are overflowing in our area here in the Central Coast with cats.
Are they both no-kill shelters?
They are, and I believe so. I might be speaking out of turn. And coming up, Santa Barbara County is going to have a free cat event in a few weeks.
Yeah. So we can let people in on that one. And I'll tell you, I know that Patty's favorite segment when she was anchoring Sunrise on KCOY CBS 12 was Friday's Pound Puppy segment. And it wasn't always a puppy. There were cats often involved with that. And boy, Patty just lit up when typically it was the Santa. We also had San Luis on there, but the Santa Barbara
Animal Services
would come on with just a really cute
Sassafras
cat.
is a tree.
Oh, it's a tree. Okay. There were people yelling at their radios right now.
It's a tree.
Well, now we know it is a tree. Okay, so there are about 86.4 million owned cats in the United States. That compares to only 78.2 million dogs. So more people have cats than dogs. 33, so exactly 1/3 of U.S. households has at least one cat, whereas 39% have dogs. So more people have dogs, but there are fewer dogs. So that means
if you're a cat owner, you're a multi-cat owner?
Typically, yes.
Okay.
52% of owners have more than one cat.
Okay, there we go.
Which is much higher than dog owners. And on average, people have 2.2 cats. So they have 2 cats and then this little 0.2 running around.
And a little tail.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I couldn't find the statistic for dogs, so I don't know where that came out to. We have 2 dogs, so I think most people have 1 dog.
Or 3. We had 4. We have 3 now.
You have 3 dogs and 2 cats. You have a regular...
The animals outnumber the people.
Dr. Doolittle house going on. And then, as I had mentioned, 21% only of cat owners got their cat from an animal shelter. Seriously, when you're thinking about your next dog or cat, don't even hesitate. Just...
Go straight to the shelter.
I can't tell you the number of people I've met who love their pet so much, completely changed their life, but in fact, you've seen the shirts or the bumper stickers that say, "I didn't rescue the dog or the cat.
It rescued me."
It rescued me. Yeah, it's true. People live longer that are pet owners. They tend to be healthier. A laundry list of things that the pet gives you.
Because they love you even when your friends don't.
Right. So I don't know if I have time to get... I guess I can get to just a little bit of this. This is not on the topic of cats, but it was something that I really wanted to bring up because I saw it yesterday. And this is from Trulia.
This is really interesting. You sent me that link.
Yes. So these are the top eating towns and drinking towns. And I won't get into the science behind how they figured it out, but it's pretty good science. And so... basically it's the number of restaurants per capita and the number of bars per capita. Number of restaurants per capita, San Francisco tops the list, number one, and by a lot. 39.3 is the score that they got. The next closest is a town in Connecticut right outside New York at 27.6. The restaurant towns tend to be expensive. Very expensive. I had no idea it was more than twice as expensive per square foot to live in San Francisco than it is in New York, in Manhattan.
Right. That's amazing.
Right, which is pretty crazy. San Francisco is the only city on the list that was also a top 10 bar city. The bar cities tend to be cheaper places to live. So
New Orleans topping the drinking cities.
Surprise. All right, we're talking Julia Child's cat when we come back in just a moment. The Eat, Drink, Explore radio show is currently in a local commercial break and will be back shortly.
I hope I got to the interesting points of it. I think so. Yeah.
Did you know our weekly Saturday morning radio show also has a video simulcast on Ustream? You can watch it live or view pre-recorded versions while on the go by simply downloading our free Eat, Drink, Explore app for your smartphone or tablet device. To find it, just head to Google Play or the Apple App Store and search Eat, Drink, Explore. The Eat, Drink, Explore radio show is currently in a local commercial break. We will be back shortly. Get the latest audio, video, and breaking news from Eat, Drink, Explore Media by following us on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. We're easy to find. The URL extension for all of those sites is simply Eat, Drink, Explore. Thank you for your patience. The Eat, Drink, Explore radio show is currently in a local commercial break and will be back on the air shortly. Curious about information you've heard on today's show? Just head to eatdrinkexplore.com and head to the weekly program summary section under the radio tab. We always list the websites and any other important facts associated with each of our guests we have on the program. The Eat, Drink, Explore radio show is currently in a local commercial break and will be back on the air shortly. Thank you for being a regular listener to the Eat, Drink, Explore radio program. If you have any feedback for us, we'd love to hear it. Simply send a note to radio@eatdrinkexplore.com. The Eat, Drink, Explore radio show is currently in a local commercial break. We will be back shortly. Get the latest audio, video, and breaking news from Eat, Drink, Explore Media by following us on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. We're easy to find. The URL extension for all of those sites is simply Eat, Drink, Explore. Thank you for your patience. The Eat, Drink, Explore radio show is currently in a local commercial break and will be back on the air shortly. Curious about information you've heard on today's show? Just head to eatdrinkexplore.com and head to the weekly program summary section under the radio tab. We always list the websites and any other important facts associated with each of our guests we have on the program. The Eat, Drink, Explore radio show is currently in a local commercial break and will be back shortly. Did you know our weekly Saturday morning radio show also has a video simulcast on Ustream? You can watch it live or view pre-recorded versions while on the go by simply downloading our free Eat, Drink, Explore app for your smartphone or tablet device. To find it, just head to Google Play or the Apple App Store and search Eat, Drink, Explore. Welcome back to the program on this Saturday morning. I'm your host, Randall White, and we're coming to you live from downtown San Luis Obispo. Starting next month, we should let you know, on Crush 92.5. You may be listening to us currently on that wonderful FM station. We will come to you on Sunday mornings, this exact time, from 8 until 10. We're just switching the day so that we can accommodate our new affiliate up in the Bay Area out of Santa Cruz, and we will be broadcasting into the Silicon Valley, San Jose and such, Santa Cruz, and all of Monterey County, right to just about the Monterey County, San Luis Obispo County line, and that's where you pick us up on Crush all the way down into Santa Barbara County. So we've got most of the Central Coast covered now. I love it, but it'll just be on Sundays instead of Saturdays. That is next month. You can still catch us here through the remainder of August on Saturdays. Okay, so a book publisher contacted us, as happens from time to time, with a new book, and I've never featured a children's book before, but this one caught my eye because it's August 2012 right now, which would have been, or is, the 100th anniversary of the birth of Julia Child. She passed away several years back, but she was from Santa Barbara, our area here, or at least lived in Santa Barbara at the end of her life. And she had a very interesting relationship with a cat. And this is prior to and during her attendance at Le Cordon Bleu. I hope I said that correctly. Cooking school in France. I just kind of throw in a little bit of accent. You like that, Patty? So it's a wonderful, charming book. My good friend Bill Daly, who is one of the food editors at the Chicago Tribune, I was talking to him yesterday about it, and he said that he just loves this book. And I have to agree. I read through it and learned some French along the way. The author is Susan Reich. She wrote Minette's Feast, and I hope I'm pronouncing the name of the cat correctly. This is the delicious story of Julia Child and her cat. Susanna, welcome to the program.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me.
Nice to have you here. And you had an opportunity to meet Julia at one point and had always wanted to write a book that included her somehow. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, before I started writing children's books, I was working as a florist. And I had the chance to design the flowers for Julia's 80th birthday party in New York City. So I made centerpieces that had kitchen whisks in the middle of them, and inside each whisk was a red rose.
Oh, I like that. That's beautiful. And after that event, you thought, boy, it'd be nice. And then when you started writing books, boy, it would be nice. And then you stumbled upon Julia's cat. How did that happen?
Well, I read her memoir, My Life in France, and she talks about getting her first cat when she moved to Paris. This was back in 1948. And this cat became like a child to her. She would go to the marketplace and buy fish heads and make fish head stew for the cat and feed the cat leftovers. And there were mice in the apartment, so the cat in return would leave a mouse on the living room rug for Julia. And I just thought that was such a funny back and forth between this woman who became this famous cook and this cat.
Yeah, and it's wonderfully illustrated, the book as well, with just visuals that really help tell the story, I think. Who was your illustrator?
The illustrator is Amy Bates, and she's worked in a beautiful colors of kind of soft browns and blue greens, and really captured the city of Paris and life in that era, as well as the expressive figures of Paul and Julia and Minette.
Now, Julia grew up in, if I remember this correctly, like the Pasadena area?
Yes, she was from Pasadena.
And from a pretty well-to-do family and didn't know much about cooking initially,
right.
Correct?
Yes, she grew up in an era when people from her background had cooks, and her mother could make maybe 2 or 3 dishes. And Julia didn't know much about cooking until she moved to Paris, and then it was like a revelation.
And she brought what scared a lot of American, at that time, housewives who were doing the majority of the cooking. When someone said French cooking, you know, your eyes opened and thought, oh, I don't even want to try to tackle a souffle or whatever it might be. Julia brought it home with her PBS television show and made everything just seem so simple and sort of took the scare out of it. Like, let's just dive into this. It's not a big deal.
Yes, she made it. Well, she had a very relaxed, natural, down-to-earth manner, and she made you believe that whatever it was, you could make it also, no matter how complicated.
Right. And then, now I had an opportunity to speak with her on the phone. I never met her in person. I was helping produce a show called Dining Around up in the Bay Area, and we had a guest on the show who had made a tomato, named the Julia Child tomato in her honor for a tomato festival held up in the Monterey area. I think it had something to do with the James Beard Foundation's annual event. And so we called Julia, got her on the phone. She was in Santa Barbara at the time. And, you know, I asked her, I said, what do you think about having a, tomato named after you? And she said, well, I think it's lovely, but I haven't had a chance to taste it yet. Have you? And I go, well, actually I did. I just tasted it, and she asked me, how was it? Did you like it? And I said, it was great. She goes, well, good. I wouldn't want an awful tasting tomato named after, That's my best Julia Child impersonation. But yeah, she was just a wonderful woman on the phone. And now, clearly this book came out several years after her death, but have you spoken with her family about the book?
Not yet. No, it just came out, so people are just finding out about it now.
Yes, and what are you hoping that children get from this book?
Well, I think everybody loves Julia Child, and it's a way to share someone who we all love and admire with a new generation who doesn't know who she is, and find out a little bit about what she was like as a person beyond just, seeing her on television and knowing about her cookbooks.
Right. She really is gaining a little bit in popularity and fame posthumously with the release of is it Julie and Julia or Julia and Julie or
Julie and Julia?
Yeah, Julie and Julia. Boy, that really took off, and I think it's actually doing very well outside the theaters. Through Netflix and rentals and that sort of thing. I think I've seen it near the top of a lot of those lists. Now, your book, and then I was mentioning at the start of this segment, my friend Bill Daly just had an article in the Chicago Tribune yesterday on, I think it's 10 books that are currently out, just being released on her life. And I imagine many people held off to release them in August, as I had. Perhaps maybe you did the same, because this is the 100th anniversary of her birthday.
Yes, so there's a lot of attention right now because of the Julia Child centennial, and restaurants throughout the country are cooking up special Julia Child menus and serving her recipes.
We are speaking with the author of Minette's Feast by Susanna Reichow. She included a lot of quotes in the book, and at the end, when you're reading, she points out that none of the conversation was made up. How did you find exact quotes to include in the book?
Well, they're all taken from either her memoir or letters that she wrote to her family and friends. And I found ways to weave those quotes into the story so they sound very natural.
They do. I like that. And one of the things that I like about the book is as you're reading it as an adult, so if you're a parent and you were to pick this up for your child and you read it together, you'll learn some French, which is kind of fun. And then at the end, you have a glossary and a pronunciation guide to help people like myself who speak no French. And so, like, in order to say the butcher, it is la boucher.
That's right. Yes.
And the baker is la boulanger, if I'm saying that correctly. J, I guess, with a little more of a Z in there. And then some common ones that most of us know, like cheese souffle. But I didn't know that I would have said magnifique, but it's magnifique.
That's right.
So at any rate, I appreciate that. I love it because it was fun learning some French as well. Susanna Reichow, we'll put a link to your website, which is very simple. It's susannareichow.com. On our website, Eat, Drink, Explore. Make it a great Saturday.
Great to talk to you.
Alrighty, stick around, everyone. We're headed to a winery with the name Cat in it, and it's in a newly designated appellation in the Napa Valley. That coming up next on Eat, Drink, Explore Radio. We're back in just a moment. The Eat, Drink, Explore radio show is currently in a local commercial break, and we'll be back shortly. Did you know our weekly Saturday morning radio show also has a video simulcast on Ustream? You can watch it live or view pre-recorded versions while on the go by simply downloading our free Eat, Drink, Explore app for your smartphone or tablet device. To find it, just head to Google Play or the Apple App Store and search Eat, Drink, Explore. The Eat, Drink, Explore radio show is currently in a local commercial break. We will be back shortly.
All of our feeds that are going out.
Get the latest audio, video, and breaking news from Eat, Drink, Explore Media by following us on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. We're easy to find. The URL extension for all of those sites is simply Eat, Drink, Explore.
Just over on the other side of the hill there from downtown.
Thank you for your patience. The Eat, Drink, Explore radio show is currently in a local commercial break, and we'll be back on the air shortly.
Reichow? Oh, thank you.
Curious about information you've heard on today's show? Just head to eatdrinkexplore.com and head to the weekly program summary section under the radio tab. We always list the websites and any other important facts associated with each of our guests we have on the program. The Eat, Drink, Explore radio show is currently in a local commercial break, and we'll be back on the air shortly. Thank you for being a regular listener to the Eat, Drink, Explore radio program. If you have any feedback for us, we'd love to hear it. Simply send a note to radio@eatdrinkexplore.com.
Oh, I haven't ordered it. I did. Oh, okay.
The Eat, Drink, Explore radio show is currently in a local commercial break. We will be back shortly. Get the latest audio, video, and breaking news from Eat, Drink, Explore Media by following us on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. We're easy to find. The URL extension for all of those sites is simply Eat, Drink, Explore.
What time do you stop working, Anthony? 4. Okay, I might go there.
Thank you for your patience. The Eat, Drink, Explore radio show is currently in a local commercial break, and we'll be back on the air shortly. Curious about information you've heard on today's show? Just head to eatdrinkexplore.com and head to the weekly program summary section under the radio tab. We always list the websites and any other important facts associated with each of our guests we have on the program. The Eat, Drink, Explore radio show is currently in a local commercial break, and we'll be back shortly. Did you know our weekly Saturday morning radio show also has a video simulcast on Ustream? You can watch it live or view pre-recorded versions while on the go by simply downloading our free Eat, Drink, Explore app for your smartphone or tablet device. To find it, just head to Google Play or the Apple App Store and search Eat, Drink, Explore.
Welcome back to the Eat, Drink, Explore radio network. Here now is your fabulous host, Mr. Randall White.
Good Saturday morning as you get up and get going. 9:33 currently on this Saturday morning, and here on the Central Coast we've got some overcast skies. In fact, I'm not sure how large a portion of California had a little bit of thunder and lightning last night, and even a sprinkle or two. I heard it in the middle of the night, and kind of fun. So long as we don't get those dry lightning strikes that can spark fires in the Sierra Nevada or even our Sierra Madre range here on the Central Coast, then it's just kind of fun. It lights up the sky and it gives you. We just don't get that. It's not part of our typical weather pattern. So we usually get the fog that rolls in at night, then burns off, and that whole summer pattern, the marine layer. But no, we had a little bit. I could tell with the clouds last night. It was beautiful sunset. In fact, the whole golden glow around 8 o'clock or so was just absolutely beautiful. All right, each and every morning when you catch us, we are talking all things food, wine, craft beer, travel, and tourism. And the topics of this second hour of the E-Trick Explorer radio show are based on something we call a compass word. Basically, we come up with a word, typically based on one of our guests, and then brainstorm from there to find two more related topics, and it always includes an eat, a drink, and an explore. And in this case, it is our drink category. The compass word this week is cat. Traci Reichow is owner and founder of Black Cat Vineyards in the Coombsville appellation of the Napa Valley. Welcome to the program, Traci.
Well, good morning, Randall. I kind of feel like I'm on Jeopardy or something. You're not going to ask me anything really hard, are you?
No, I'm not. But I'm sure the questions I ask you'll be very well familiar with, and that would be including many of our listeners or even people viewing right now might say Coombsville. What is this Coombsville? I haven't heard of that. A lot of people know the Napa Valley, maybe even have gone there their entire life and haven't heard of Coombsville. Where is that?
I know. Isn't it just crazy that can actually be the case with a place like this that's been here since 1870 with vineyards in it? But yeah, it's in the southeast corner of the Napa Valley, about 10 minutes from downtown Napa, and it's named for Nathan Coombs, Coombs, so it's called Coombsville. But I have spent my entire 16 years here explaining where it is and what it is to everybody who visits.
Traci,
we're definitely a secret here.
But that's nice because some people avoid the Napa Valley because it's Highway 29, right?
Oh, yeah.
The Highway 29 corridor can be overrun. And so you're off the Highway 29 corridor, which makes it appealing to those of us who like the secret areas.
Oh, totally. In fact, most of our 25 or 30 member vintners out here in Coombsville don't even have signs. You have to have an appointment and you have to be given the address to know where you're going. And we like it that way. Well, and it kind of has to be that way because most of us, almost all of us here, are owner-operators, which means if you don't have an appointment, we could be out in, the back 40 on a tractor actually farming the grapes, as most of us do, including myself, So we're multitaskers here.
I like that. I love when it's an owner-operator, and in this case, it is a woman. And you are a minority in the Napa Valley culture when it comes to owning a vineyard.
So I'm told, and it actually had never really occurred to me until a couple of years ago when a reporter came and wanted to do a series of women winemakers in the Napa Valley. And, I gave her my list of girlfriends that are all winery owners. And she's like, yeah, pretty much that's it. And I'm like, really? That's all? All of us?
It's surprising, isn't it? Because it doesn't seem like something, in my mind anyway, that would be dominated by one sex or the other. But in this case, it truly is. It the same story from growing region to growing region? Like, would you find the same percentages of men and women in Sonoma or Paso Robles or whatever region you pick?
I'm going to get my first Jeopardy question wrong now because I don't know. I mean, I don't get out that much. I farm my 7 vineyards and I make the wine myself and I host guests myself. I'm kind of a one-woman show. And so I don't really... I rarely leave the valley.
You don't have time to research it, no.
Yeah, I have no idea what is really out there.
Farming is a 24/7 job, right? And you're in charge of it.
You could call it a job. I think of it more of a lifestyle. It's this is actually a second career for me. So I've been here 16 years doing this. Before that, I was an investment banker. I was a really, really nice investment banker, by the way.
Yeah, I bet. It sounds like it. What was the transition point? Where did you say, I'm not doing this anymore. I'm going to live in the Coombsville area of Napa and run a small winery?
I wish I had a pedigree or some wonderful story about how I was born to be a winemaker in the Napa Valley, and that is so just not true. I was an investment banker raising my kids. My husband and I decided we needed a place to raise our family, and we'd been here as guests, as tourists, many, many times, and thought, wow, this is pretty awesome. So we literally bought a piece of land here simply because we wanted to raise our family here. Isn't that just sad?
That's sweet. I like that.
And then, what happened for me is that, when in Rome, I'm here, I've got all this land, I'm thinking I should plant a few grapevines. I start the project and realize, wow, this is actually harder than it looks, so maybe I should take a class. Went up to the university, took a class.
Are you speaking of Davis?
Yes, and I took one class to start, was Intro to Viticulture, and I thought, well, this will be helpful. And then, it was like heroin, or I imagine heroin to be anyway.
Right.
It was a slippery slope. I just fell right down, and I took every class they had at Sonoma State, and I planted 3,500 vines before I finished with my own property, and then moved on to a second property. And it's just never ended.
It just keeps building. And as you were putting in those vines, you were followed around by a small black cat.
I was, who kept me, you can imagine, investment banker turned winemaker. I lost a lot of friends. People were like, you're what?
What? Where?
What do you know about this? And so everybody kind of just like abandoned me, except for this wonderful cat who stayed and kept me company. And some could say it kept me sane, although I know others who would argue with the full sanity defense anyway. But yeah, so he kept me company, and I regularly, tell my children that if they would have just shown a little faith early on, they could have had a winery named after him.
It could be one of your children's name and then winery as opposed to Black Cat.
Exactly.
So what do you specialize in? Is there a specific varietal?
I grow 7 different types of grapes, all reds. I'm probably most known for my Syrah because I planted Syrah here in the Coombsville area 16 years ago, and people, were like, this is cab country. What are you doing, girl?
Yeah.
But in fact, I had a vanity plate that said, I heart Syrah on my car. And people would say to me, seriously, 16 years ago, they would say, oh, is that your daughter's name?
Is it pronounced Sarah?
Yeah, exactly. And so I fell in love with Syrah from a French Syrah standpoint, and that's what I wanted to grow and plant here, and so that's what I planted here at the estate vineyard. And it's really my baby, I guess. So although I produce more of other, 4 different cabs and a Howell Mountain Zen and all kinds of different things, the Syrah has a special place in my heart, so I guess that's my number one.
It really became popular with wine drinkers when the Australians started to flood the market with Shiraz, as they call it. Same grape, right?
Yeah, same grape, exactly. I usually, my feeling is, this is just one winemaker's opinion, but if a winemaker's decided to call their Syrah Shiraz, it's probably going to be made in more of a Cabernet winemaking style, so more of an extracted winemaking style than my Syrah. Syrah is more of a delicate, elegant version of the Shiraz style of winemaking. But then again, just my opinion.
Traci, well, you certainly are good to have an opinion. You've built your own winery. So,
there you go.
Traci, we only have about a minute left. I'm curious what the climate is like there. Is it a little bit cooler because you're at the opening of the valley?
You know, what I like to say, and people laugh at me all the time, is it's not cooler here. It's just less hot.
Okay.
And what I mean is that we reach the same high temperatures as the rest of my vineyards. I have vineyards in Rutherford and Howell Mountain as well, farther up valley. So we reach the same high temperature, but we don't stay at that temperature as long, as many hours in the day, because we get that cooling influence from San Pablo Bay coming in.
Right.
So it's critical, actually, to the complexion of the fruit, because you, by getting those high temperatures, you're developing wonderful mature flavors. By not staying there, you're not baking the flavor out of the fruit, and those cool evenings are fixing the acid into the wine, which is really boring for people to hear about, I know, but it's so important in the structure of the wine.
How it eventually tastes. Well, so people can just contact you via your website, which is blackcatvineyard.com, right? And they can set up an appointment to come check out your place and do some tasting?
Well, they can if they mention your radio show. I only see people by referral. I've gotten so busy over all these years. So I see people, you've got to be referred in.
I got to cut you off there, Traci. I'll let people know on the other side of the break. Traci Reichow, Black Cat Vineyard. We're back in a moment. The Eat, Drink, Explore radio show is currently in a local commercial break and will be back shortly. Did you know our weekly Saturday morning radio show also has a video simulcast on Ustream? You can watch it live or view pre-recorded versions while on the go by simply downloading our free Eat, Drink, Explore app for your smartphone or tablet device. To find it, just head to Google Play or the Apple App Store and search Eat, Drink, Explore.
Will you join me in this one? This is the Cheshire Cat Inn.
The Eat, Drink, Explore radio show is currently in a local commercial break. We will be back shortly. Get the latest audio, video, and breaking news from Eat, Drink, Explore Media by following us on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. We're easy to find. The URL extension for all of those sites is simply Eat, Drink, Explore. Thank you for your patience. The Eat, Drink, Explore radio show is currently in a local commercial break and will be back on the air shortly. Curious about information you've heard on today's show? Just head to eatdrinkexplore.com and head to the weekly program summary section under the radio tab. We always list the websites and any other important facts associated with each of our guests we have on the program. The Eat, Drink, Explore radio show is currently in a local commercial break and will be back on the air shortly. Thank you for being a regular listener to the Eat, Drink, Explore radio program. If you have any feedback for us, we'd love to hear it. Simply send a note to radio@eatdrinkexplore.com. The Eat, Drink, Explore radio show is currently in a local commercial break. We will be back shortly. Get the latest audio, video, and breaking news from Eat, Drink, Explore Media by following us on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. We're easy to find. The URL extension for all of those sites is simply Eat, Drink, Explore. Thank you for your patience. The Eat, Drink, Explore radio show is currently in a local commercial break and will be back on the air shortly.
I know some of the details, but
Curious about information you've heard on today's show? just head to eatdrinkexplore.com and head to the weekly program summary section under the radio tab. We always list the websites and any other important facts associated with each of our guests we have on the program. The Eat, Drink, Explore radio show is currently in a local commercial break and will be back shortly. Did you know our weekly Saturday morning radio show also has a video simulcast on Ustream? You can watch it live or view pre-recorded versions while on the go by simply downloading our free Eat, Drink, Explore app for your smartphone or tablet device. To find it, just head to Google Play or the Apple App Store and search Eat, Drink, Explore. Welcome back to the Eat, Drink, Explore radio show on this Saturday morning, and a good start to your weekend. I hope you're enjoying yourself already. It is remaining gloomy here in San Luis Obispo. But odd weather pattern moving overhead is what we've had, and I haven't looked at any. Sometimes I'll check out the cameras up and down the coast and even inland just to see what the weather's like, but I haven't done that today, so I'm not sure. But we do have somebody on the phone who can tell us what the weather's like in Santa Barbara. I should tell you that we were just speaking to somebody in the Napa region. Traci Reichow is with Black Cat Vineyard, and that's in the Coombsville appellation, a newly designated appellation in the Napa Valley. Traci said the only way you can come get a tour of the vineyard and do some wine tasting is through referral. So you have to mention that you heard it on the Eat, Drink, Explore radio show. And just go to blackcatvineyard.com. Give Traci, send Traci an email or give her a ring and mention our show, and you can get in. It's fun to go to one of those small boutique wineries. You get a completely different view of what wine tasting is all about when you do it that route. So Traci, boy, she was just a complete joy to have on the phone. But here for our final segment of Eat, Drink, Explore Radio is Christine Dunstan. She is the owner and creator of the Cheshire Cat Inn, again with cat being our compass word of the day. This is in Santa Barbara, walking distance to the Urban Wine Trail. Christine, welcome to the program.
Oh, thank you very much. Good morning.
Nice to have you here. I'm also joined by Patty Pyburn, my lovely and talented co-host. And now the Cheshire Cat is named from the Alice in Wonderland novel. Is that what I understand?
Yes, absolutely.
How did you arrive at the Cheshire Cat as a theme?
Well, partly because I'm from Cheshire in England, and I wanted it to have an English theme as well as using the character from the book. I thought it was a good combination, really. And
so I hear you pronounce it Cheshire?
Cheshire.
Cheshire. Okay, I'll try to remember that because you hear me saying Cheshire.
I know.
Such a overemphasizing.
She wasn't going to point that out, Randall.
No, I'll do it too. I always point out my own flaws. Christine, you have rave reviews online. A TripAdvisor is a source I use all the time, tripadvisor.com, as with Yelp, and in both cases, people rave about your place. What is it that you feel that you do that's special or different from some of the other inns?
Well, it's hard to say how different I am exactly, except that the two main houses, Victorian houses, are old and historical and very attractive. Plus, we built a coach house in the rear of our gardens, and the architect did a fabulous job of matching up the new building to look exactly like the two old buildings. And in between, we have just really fabulous gardens. So I think that that makes it very attractive. Plus the fact we're very close to downtown Santa Barbara. We're just really one block off State Street and 3 blocks away from the main restaurants, movie theaters, shops, etc. So it makes it really very nice. And of course we do the best we can with our accommodations and food and everything else.
So I was looking at your website, and the accommodations look really homey. They're, like you were saying, they have that Victorian feel, but also really comfortable and homey looking. Now, I noticed you have the Eberle house. Well, how did that house get its name?
Well, the two main Victorian houses. I mean, the corner house is the corner house, and then the house next door, we named it the Eberle House because the builder who came from Germany in the 1800s built the two houses. So we thought we would honor his name and name it the Eberle House.
We were thinking it might be after Eberle Winery in the Paso Robles region. We had Gary Eberle on the show earlier today, so we thought we'd throw
maybe
that.
There was a connection.
That's funny. No,
yeah.
No, maybe he's a distant relative. Who knows?
And you know, one of the guests that we had on is Susan Reich, who wrote a book, Minette's Feast, about Julia Child and her cat. Do I understand you knew Julia?
Yes, I did know Julia. She came and attended a couple of cooking classes I had here when we first opened. And she came with her husband, and the chef at the time, when he knew that she was coming to watch him cook, he got very nervous. And I said, listen, don't worry at all. I'm going to be pouring wine for everybody, and I know she likes to drink wine. And she was so charming and friendly, and he's very soon. He was soon very happy, and he lost his nerves anyway.
I would have been nervous too if here you are cooking and Julia Child's coming over to the. So do you still host cooking classes there?
No, we don't. We did that in the first couple of years, and then just after that, I was involved in running a hotel in Scotland, and so it became just too much work, really. But it was fun while we did it, and we had a lot of different chefs who would come and teach. And it was very successful, but, at some point you just can't do everything, so we decided we better just concentrate on being an inn.
What a great Julia Child story, though. I love that. So I'm just cruising over the website here for the Cheshire Cat, and I noticed you have a couple things, the cat's grin and the cat's meow.
Yes, we have a couple of specials we run during the week, one which includes dinners at one of our nice restaurants in town. And the other one, the other special is a package that has massage for two people. So, people can choose. And it's nice to have something that we can offer during the week as sort of promotional thing, which is very good value.
Yes. Earlier you mentioned how close you are to the shopping districts of downtown, just one block off of State Street, and anyone familiar with Santa Barbara knows what a treat it is to walk. Santa Barbara's just a great walking town, wouldn't you agree?
Oh, very much so, and also bicycling, because so many of the streets have got bicycle lanes. So, and there are plenty of places to rent bikes in town, or of course we have guests who bring their own bikes as well. But it's very, very friendly for pedestrians and cyclists. It makes it very nice to wander around town in a leisurely fashion, especially for people who live in Los Angeles where they have to drive everywhere.
And I believe Amtrak offers some deals for you, and a number of restaurants and such in town will give you a percentage off if you go car-free while you're in Santa Barbara. If you take the train and you can show proof that you took the train at restaurants, or if you ride your bike around town, you'll get these discounts. So you've seen that as well?
Yes, that's quite true. Yes, I think we definitely are trying to promote rail travel, which I think would enhance everybody's life here considerably if we had more trains coming from England, where, of course, trains are very popular. So, yeah, I think it's a very nice way. I mean, who wants to sit on the freeways and when you could be sitting on a train and having a nice leisurely trip.
I agree, and it's a beautiful view on that stretch between Santa Barbara and Ventura. And lately, every time I drive that stretch, one side of the 101 is backed up in one direction or the other. So.
Well, unfortunately, yes, it's obviously all the roads have got a lot worse, haven't they, in the last few years? So it's happened up here as well, and sadly to say.
Now, the last couple of times I've been in Santa Barbara, I have taken my bicycle, and we've ridden from where we're staying downtown along the beach there. Is it Ledbetter Beach? And then up and over the mesa to a wonderful place that I know Patty loves as well. Is it called Hendry's?
Henry's Beach, yes.
Yes, that boathouse restaurant, which used to be the Brown Pelican. I don't care if they served like the worst food in the world, which doesn't happen to be the case. The location is amazing, but the food is also awesome too.
No. It's a fabulous location. Actually, we go there ourselves and take our two dogs for walks along that beach because we love it.
Beautiful.
Because it's a dog beach. Is your inn pet friendly?
At this minute, we are trying to decide whether we are pet friendly or not. So it just depends. We have cottages that in the past we have had very small pets, But then if we have a problem because sometimes guests are so allergic.
Right.
And, it's very difficult to provide both. So
it is a balancing act.
It is a balancing act. So I'm not really quite sure. I can't say that this very second we are.
Well, Christine, you are an absolute pleasure to speak with. Christine Dunstan is the owner and creator of the Cheshire Cat Inn. I hope I got that correct.
Yes, you did.
Thank you so much for being on Eat, Drink, Explore Radio.
Oh, you're very welcome. It's nice to talk to you.
And this hour is brought to you by Eberle Winery, not the same Eberle as from the Cheshire Cat Inn, where you'll always find complimentary wine tasting located on Highway 46 East in Paso, Robles. You can log on to eberlewinery.com. And don't forget the big winemaker cook-off next weekend raises a lot of great money for scholarships for kids from Paso Robles High.
Yeah, a great cause.
And a great deal. $75, all you can eat, drink, and entertainment. This has been Eat, Drink, Explore Radio. Catch us right back here next week. We're still on Saturdays. We'll see you then.